There comes a point in every man's life where he must choose what the best anime is. It takes a really long time because you have to watch a lot of anime. And that can be real tough if you've got just you doing it. But luckily, I've got my friends to do it with me.
I'm Tristan.
I'm Miles.
I'm Geoff, and this is our quest for the best.
Woo!
Yay! Okay, all right, that's pretty good.
It is pretty good. We need to give ourselves props for doing the intro correctly more often.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's just a dig at me, but okay.
No, it is a slight prodding to do better, which you can, and I know you can. I trust you.
I don't
I believe
want
in
to
you.
do better. I like a messy intro. There are some podcasts I listen to where they've had the same exact, one sentence intro for 10 years and they still can't get it right. And I think
it's on purpose at this point.
No, it's just they're prioritizing the things that matter, which is not, keeping to the script. They're just there to chill. That's fine. It's good.
Miles, as a former marketing executive,
Yes.
should you not be aware that the first 5 seconds are the most important part of any piece of media?
That's not true with podcasts because we've got captive audiences. You're in your car right now, and there might be a cop looking at you. And so if you try and change the pod or skip ahead, you're in trouble, Buster.
You're right.
Looking forward to a person who actually comments, hey, I was listening to this while driving a car, and no joke, there was a cop right there.
I mean, or you're on a subway and you just don't want to bother to take it out because you're cramped in there, or maybe you're doing the dishes and your hands are all wet and stuff already.
How often do people listen to that on the subway? Because I would normally need a constant internet connection, which I never get on the subway, though that just might be a problem with the TTC.
Well, just download it.
It's a podcast.
But then if you've already downloaded it, you're pretty committed at that point.
Podcast apps are pretty good about automatically downloading the new episodes as they come out. I never have to actively download podcasts.
Well,
You don't really have to think
select
about it anymore.
You have to select it. It won't just download random podcasts to your device, will it?
So that's the point. If they're subscribed to the Quest for the Best, they're here.
Yeah.
You got them. Opening, 10 out of 10 opening or not otherwise.
I suppose that is
otherwise.
true.
So by that logic, we just need to do shitty openings from now on.
Well, no, the only opening that mattered was the first one, which I did perfectly.
He did.
Unless people start an episode. I don't know why anyone would be starting with the Cobra episode, but maybe somebody out there loves Cobra so much.
If this is your introduction to the podcast, please DM me and let's just hang out sometime because you're my friend.
Because obviously, out of all of the stuff that we've talked about, if you feel like, no, I need to hear what they say about Cobra first before anything else, good people.
Yeah.
Or French people.
Yeah. No,
which is also
I get
okay.
It. I get it. If you find out that somebody's in love with the same 3 animated women who, spoilers, as you, then
is he really in love with them though?
They confirmed it with space magic.
Before our main topic, we've got to start with our question of the week. So, Avarice River on YouTube asks, did you guys ever have a period where you stopped watching anime? And if so, what was the anime that pulled you back in?
What anime made you stop? And then what anime pulled you back in? I'm boring. I haven't stopped.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. I don't even feel like there was much, there might have been down moments, but it wasn't caused by any specific show. And anything that brought me back, that would just be any of the anime in my top 10.
When I was 18, 19, I kind of slowed down. I don't know if I ever fully stopped watching anime because I still had, the DVDs that I'd watch and I'd catch stuff on TV, but I was watching less TV and playing more video games and focusing on going to Vancouver Film School to learn to make video games. So I was all in on that for a while. And then 6 months in, it wasn't a specific anime that got me out of it either. It was just generalized anime burnout. You can probably point to, I tried to care about the long-term continuity of Naruto after just kind of watching it on TV for a while. And that probably contributed quite a lot. if I remember correctly, I think actually one of the last ones I watched was FMA Brother, like before dropping off, was like the first couple episodes of FMA Brotherhood. And I was like, man, I don't need to watch this. I've already watched the original FMA.
Yeah.
Which was such a funny thing. Because
such a hot take.
At the time, I think there were a lot of people like that. Because it doesn't do the justice to the first few episodes.
I know. I was part of that group.
But so I
was very hardcore 2003 in the early days of Brotherhood, back in its first half until it got to the new stuff.
So I was like really looking forward to Brotherhood, and then it just didn't pan out. But then other guys at Vancouver Film School were watching anime on Crunchyroll. I was like, damn, I miss watching anime. I am sick of staring at video games every day for so much longer than a full work day. You have no idea. Every day. So I was like, yeah, you know what? That'll help keep me sane. So I got a Crunchyroll sub, and the first one I watched to get back into it was Fate Zero, which
good pick.
Probably the best Fate anime overall, I would say. I'm a little biased on that because, it holds a special place in my heart.
I don't know if I would agree wholeheartedly, but I don't disagree, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think I watched one of the Heaven's Feel movies. I haven't finished them, so, that they're probably, they're movies, so they're probably better according to the Miles metric for anime evaluation.
Actually, that's... Spoiler, I'm going to disagree with myself today pretty hardcore.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right. You mean you're going to say that other Cobra, better Cobra?
Yeah.
Okay.
Little teaser for y'all.
What about you, Miles?
Like Tristan, there's never been a point where I stopped watching anime altogether, but I have had cool spells. The cool spells are not really brought on by a specific anime. It's more about, I've been working in the industry for like almost 15 years, around 15 years at this point. So I have had points where I get a little burnt out, and anime is supposed to be a fun thing I do and something enjoyable. And it's hard for that to be the case when it's also your job. So I remember there were points where I was watching 30 simulcasts a season every week for promotional purposes, back when there were like 30 anime getting promoted a season. And then I also remember how I burnt out doing that, and then I, reduced it down to 10 as I built up a team to help me promote the breadth of shows, right?
Hired other people to watch the crappier anime for you.
We assigned it out. I think they still do assign it out, like between teams, so there's still people who are like, all right, I want this one, and this one, and you kind of like do a bidding process sometimes. It's pretty, like, you make it work. You make it so that the people who are going to be the most authentically excited about shows will promote them.
Mm.
But I found that even during that era, when I was feeling really burnt out with anime for work and not really feeling up to watching simulcasts, because I couldn't help but like think about how would I promote this title?
Yeah.
Or what kind of video essay could I, get like commissioned for this, or all this sort of thing. I would still go home and watch like old OVAs and be like, no, anime is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And it would help me like feel more impassioned to do my job, because those didn't feel like work.
Yeah, even in my down period, I'd watch like my Bakano DVD or my Beck DVD, like it was just like a couple favorites instead of trying to watch everything.
Just taking in the classics.
Yeah.
I think the pandemic was actually my lowest point. The, first year or so of the pandemic was my lowest point for anime watching. So I'm like the opposite of every other human being on Earth.
That makes sense though, because you'd like just left.
No, I was still at Crunchyroll for this period.
Were you? Oh yeah.
But I had just had a kid. So that was a part of it. The burnout was a part of it. And also I didn't have my coworkers to talk to every day in the same way. And I think that also, like, I didn't have like team members saying, hey, did you see the last episode of this? Because when you're working at Crunchyroll and you're on the like one team that's actually supposed to like care about anime, so you make sure you hire people who actually care about the medium, then you find that there are people who want to talk about anime every single day, even though it's their job. That's pretty cool. So I think not being in that environment where we were having lunch together and just talking casually at the office, mixed with anime feeling like work, that was probably the lowest point for my anime watching. I didn't watch very much. Like, I think it took me like 4 years to finish Eizouken, right?
Which is crazy because that's a super Miles core anime.
Yeah.
That's super surprising to me.
Case in point. Yeah, so that was it. I mean, I just got back once I basically recovered.
And Tristan, you've just never really cooled off on anime.
Not to a large extent, no.
Does he look like he has?
Yeah, no.
Does his shelf look like he has?
I mean, in fairness, about like 90% of everything behind me, I have owned for over a decade. A lot of my DVD buying stuff stopped a decade ago, but also that's when they really stopped making a lot of
No,
DVDs.
there's still like 200 new releases a year, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the ones that I care about don't get releases, Miles.
That's true. Yeah, they're like, wait, has there even been a Dungeon People Blu-ray release?
No, I don't think
That's
so.
crazy.
I gotta check that now. Hold on.
I would not advise anyone to do it, economically speaking, but...
No, I take that back. Dungeon People Complete Collection, June 10th from Sentai.
Well, there you go.
So
How dare you not get on that? You're
Get
part of the
on
problem.
it. Yeah, support your faves, man.
I'm part of the problem. But it's like also the other thing that I loved with all of these, like all of the things that I loved is that I bought them at cons. I loved buying things at cons. That was so fun. I can't do it anymore because they don't sell DVDs and Blu-rays at cons anymore. And even if they did, they are way too expensive.
The swap meets at cons are pretty good places. I buy a lot of Blu-rays there and DVDs.
Yeah, except usually they're overcrowded, hard to find, and some of the people that I've met at swap meets are like, I don't know if I like you. I don't know if I would ever like you. I don't really want to deal with you right now, but you have this thing I want.
Two words for you, Tristan. Get good.
Get better at the power of friendship, Tristan. Get better at...
and make better friends.
No, just get better at making shallow friendships with
random
strangers who have anime that you want for a couple minutes.
If someone is selling you an anime, or someone has an anime you would like to purchase, does that mean you're more likely to be your friend because they have something you shared interest, or less likely because they're getting rid of it?
Less likely because at a swap meet, they're getting rid of it.
But what if they just need the money?
Yeah.
What if this is causing them intense pain?
You
and
know?
then when you haggle with them, they're like,
but it's obviously not a favorite of theirs.
Yeah, you don't know other people's
you don't
circumstances.
Know that. I'm
hearing a lot of assumptions, Tristan.
Yeah, like Evangelion.
Maybe this is why you have a hard time with swap meets.
It's not like selling like a classic car or something that they just have to get out of their driveway.
There's some people out there who like Ava's their favorite anime, and they got that platinum collection sitting on their shelf, and they're like, I really need $500 this month.
Because that specifically is exactly $500. Well, not exactly, but
no, but you know, like
stupid expensive. I get it. Yeah.
Like some of the good shit just gets real expensive, you know, and sometimes it just makes sense to.
I like finding deals at cons. That was like half the fun of going into a dealer's hall at a con. Was going up and picking up that freaking Gankatsuwa box I showed off when we were recording with Song 1 on my other set. Getting that for like $10, or was it $5? It was super cheap regardless. Like getting that, I'm like, you don't find that like that. I don't know how much that box set specifically goes for anymore, but it's like, you don't find deals like that anymore.
I'll tell you, dude, one of my favorite, one of my favorite moments at any convention, was I think the last Anime Revolution I went to, actually, I found a complete set of the Bandai special editions of Scrapped Princess with the figurines. So literally that was a spend any amount of money that I need to get those.
I've only ever seen those editions at a con once, and they were going for like $150 each.
It was an expensive proposition. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
No, so that's why I didn't buy them. Because I was like, I can't get them at a price of $150 each.
But like,
I could get them if it was $150 for all of them.
Yeah, but I mean, never gonna happen. Unfortunately,
Scrap Princess though, my God.
Yeah, I mean, they're such gorgeous special editions too.
Yeah.
But that's what I used to love about going to cons. And I had another good experience like that when Yazy and I were living in Langley, BC, because there's a pawn shop in downtown Langley that they have one of their cases is rented out during off season for conventions by one of the guys who like sets up booths at every convention he can go to. So I went to this pawn shop in Langley, and there Fooly Cooley DVD box set, like the original one that looks like Conti, Ava Platinum Edition. So I cleaned up. I guess I ruined that guy's summer circuit because it was like,
well, I mean,
spring I went in there, but he's still selling them. So actually you get less of a markup that way. And that's the like real problem with treasure hunting at conventions these days. It's just gotten pricier and pricier every year.
Yeah.
And like, man,
I mean, I feel like eBay is still totally reasonable.
Yeah.
But Facebook Marketplace is, a bit of a annoyance because coordinating pickups is annoying. No one's willing to ship on Facebook for whatever reason. And
no,
also,
you always have to go and pick up, and then you have to be like, all right, is this worth the gas and time on top of everything else?
Well, people won't respond to you also.
Yeah.
But also, I was about to say, like, I feel like I've had a lot of good recent interactions with, like, the, what's it called? The swap meets at conventions. And I'm like, just recently I picked up Haibane Renmei for like $25 at YaoiCon. And then I'm like, YaoiCon has not existed for like 8 years.
That's...
Firstly. Secondly, which version of Haibane did you get? Like the individuals, or did you actually get the box?
The box. That's why I was so happy.
No, I would be happy because I had to settle for the 4 discs individually that I bought over the course of 2 years because nobody either had the box, or if they sold the box, it was super pricey.
And I don't think I have it back here because, like, I've been using this as like a background, but it's a little silly because I'm just trying to like keep up with Tristan, but at the same time, most of my Blu-rays and DVDs are still in boxes. So I have like 5 or 6 big tubs of anime Blu-rays and DVDs, mostly DVDs, just sitting around.
And they're all good ones, so, I
mean, you say that, but I actually have still never watched Votoms, even though I like went crazy. My wife and I went crazy at Half Price Books and just like got the whole set at Half Price Books for like $4 each. We just cleared them out. That's great.
I think I've got Votoms on Blu-ray. I'm not sure. I haven't watched it either.
I should.
And I would say I only buy what I watch, except that's an absolute lie. There was a not insignificant. It's like this shelf is like my Steam library. How much of it have I actually watched? You don't know. It's not very high in some cases.
Isn't that the case with like books too? Like, how much of your libraries have you read? And I think a healthy answer is like half usually.
For me, if I own the book, if I bought it personally, I've read it. If it was gifted to me, 50-50 chance of me of actually reading it. It's much better to ask like my mom, who is a actual librarian, before she retired, how much books she reads. And that is not a number that is quantifiable with normal mathematics.
So Miles, I don't think did you pick up on the boss clue there?
No.
All we got to do is buy him a copy.
No.
And then there's a 50-50 shot.
How did I get it before you? How did I understand that this suddenly became a Dungeon Crawler Cold discussion before you picked up on it?
Because you're primed and ready. We actually, so just for the viewers at home, listeners at wherever you are, sorry, editor Tristan, there's a garbage truck going out right in front of me, and I'm going to keep talking through it, so it's really hard to edit out. But for the listeners at home,
I mean, I could just cut this whole section. I won't, but I could.
For the listeners at home or wherever you are, last weekend or this weekend, Tristan or Geoff and I asked Tristan, what would it take to get you to read Dungeon Crawler Carl? We asked, we'll do anything. You just have to listen to the first half of the book. You don't have to read a page of paper. Just listen 4 hours of your time or whatever, 4 or 5 hours of your time while you're doing other things. You can multitask with it. It's fine. And he wouldn't respond. He wouldn't give us an answer. He could get anything he wanted out of us probably at this rate.
I very much doubt it. I could name a couple of things that I would never get out of you guys.
Like the files from like last week's episode?
Yeah, like the files for like 5 podcasts that you have been not giving me so that I could edit them. Thankfully, by the time anybody watches this, we're talking about the podcasts that have already been released, I hope.
Depends if you listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl or not, I guess, Tristan.
You can really hold that over my head? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want the audio files for the Golden Boy episode? Oh, you better go read Dungeon Crawler Carl. So yeah, by the way, I haven't edited Golden Boy, which hopefully you guys have seen by this point. By the time this goes out. Because someone... We're not going to say who, but you know, someone needs to give them to me. We're going to constitute a thing. As soon as the recording's done, you immediately send me everything. Geoff's gotten really good at that. Miles needs to get better.
I used to be really good at that. I don't know what happened.
What do you mean you used to be good at that?
For
how long? Like the period of maybe episode 1, 2, and 3?
No.
As soon as we hit Japan arc, that's where all of this shit started happening.
The audio files used to always go up immediately.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's true. I think. I don't know. I didn't look at the file folder, so Miles could just
anyway. We've got a side quest today.
We do.
Like every day,
except hopefully this is a fun one.
They're all fun ones, except hopefully this is a fun. What you selling us out, Tristan?
No, you said that we have a side quest every day, but we don't record every day. And while we do technically probably have side quests every day, I have a variety of life side quests that are not very fun that I still need to complete on a daily basis.
I meant every day on the podcast. I feel like that was clear.
Is every day we're not recording also a side quest for the podcast?
It's also a worse day for it. Anyway, so our side quest today is responding to a bit of a discussion that we've been seeing online. I don't know if we're actually going to talk about the posts in question that began it, but either way, the discussion in general was, is there a such thing as a universal starter anime, and is Death Note it?
Good. So before we get into this, just for the folks at home, because this is very important, we have not yet figured out an RPG naming convention for just discussing stuff.
Yes, we have. It's Tavern Talk.
Tavern Talk, is it?
Yes, we've already used it.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. I was hoping the folks I was trying to get some interaction from the folks at home.
Tell us why Tavern Talk sucks, or your recommendation for it.
Yeah. Tell us why Tavern Talk sucks. We may or may not take your opinions into consideration for future podcasts.
There episodes. We go. Right.
So anyway, is there such thing as a universal starter anime? And if so, does Death Note qualify?
I think Death Note qualifies in the sense that a lot of people end up watching it really early in their anime watching careers just because it's very popular and accessible. But
or at least they did. I don't know if that's still the case.
I mean, it's like one of the perennial Netflix anime now. It's also, I think, a very accessible one for people who want to get into longer anime. Because it's like longer than a season, but shorter than 2 seasons.
It's only really about a season, though.
Only really about a season, and then pretend like the rest of it. No, that's not true. Because then you miss out on Swim Matsuda Swim.
True. And honestly, one of the reasons why I would say that Death Note is a perfect starter anime is because of that second quarter or half or however you want to divide the show. If for no other reason, then it will prepare you for all of the other anime that will be really good until they're not. And then you have to go and read the manga. Except in this case, it's actually a fairly good adaptation of the manga, but the depression and how let down you are is what it prepares you for in further watches of different shows.
See, I need to go back and sit down and watch and do a proper amalgamation of my thoughts on the ending, because
Notes of Death, yeah.
Because I've gone back and forth on it over the years. I think the last third of Death Note does feel bad to watch in a lot of ways. It's just not as entertaining a dynamic. But I do also think it's thematically necessary to the story that people keep trying to stop Light after he thinks he's solved his cops coming after me problem once and for all.
But I mean, it's also just as boring though, because like the entire first two parts, or the first 2/3 of it, you're kind of given this impression that Yagami would be perfectly fine and could rule the entire world if not for L. L finally dies, spoilers, and he spends like how long not being the god of the new world, just kind of faffing about, not taking care or cementing his power within the Japanese police force of any of that. He's just kind of existing up until like a few years later, or maybe it's only a year later. I don't remember how long the time gap in Death Note was. But however long that was until
like
Nier and Mello show up.
It's 4 or 5 years because he is on the police force. He's
working with his dad still, but they took over for L. They're pretending to be L, so that the public still thinks that it's the thing. But it's like
living with Misa.
He doesn't make any moves to cement his power now that L's gone. Well, it's just kind of he keeps a status quo for 4 years, and that just feels very boring.
Well, because why would he do that? Oh, okay, so one, he thinks that L being gone is the end of his problems. B, in terms of like organizational and like systemic understanding of like how to control larger systems, Light's a dumbass. Light just straight does not understand society.
Absolutely not. He absolutely understands society at a very good level for a 16-year-old, and he's just arrested at that point in time. No, like I think he's a very bright 16-year-old, and what do all these like 20-somethings who are working for like Doge, who are like cutting all these government services think? Like, it doesn't matter whether they're right or wrong. It just matters that they have no life experience to draw on for making these assessments, and that's the problem we see with Light, where he's a brilliant young kid, but he's a young kid. So, of course, he doesn't have any meaningful understanding of how systems work. He's got some of the large swaths, and he probably knows better than still most people, right?
I wouldn't. I think he understands, like, organizational stuff, but I really think he fundamentally misunderstands how society functions.
Well, I mean, I would agree with you only at that point once the time skip happens, because before then, I feel like all of his assumptions are based in a level of maybe pop psychology, but like there's something to it. He is coming from a place of like understanding his fellow.
Well, I mean, no, this is why I actually think the last third of Death Note is really important, and I think it's worth revisiting and discussing because like.
Which we will do.
The thematic thrust of that is like his entire base assumption for the Kira persona, like his idea of I will keep killing criminals until there are no more criminals, is fundamentally wrong.
Yeah.
The last 10% of crime that he has to eliminate, he'll never eliminate because those people are either anonymous to him or just like good at doing crimes without getting caught, or rich enough to come up with patsies for Kira to kill for their crimes indefinitely. The series is fundamentally, or one of its themes is that like deterrence doesn't actually work. And like,
but I think this is kind of coming back to the systems argument where he is right on the first level, but then there's never a system where such a simple change to the paradigm is going to be enough to rewrite the whole system. It's just going to morph everything else around it, like you kind of mentioned. So again, this is just kind of like the ignorance. He's 16 or so when he gets to Death Note, and then he's like, what, 20 then in the later part, and he's kind of had arrested development as far as I'm concerned because he's been so locked in on being Kira.
Well, basically. I mean that's also a really interesting part of it because it like this may sound like kind of a weird leap, but I think of L and Kira as a very good model of what happens to influencers who get famous before they're like fully mature.
Oh no, I thought you were going in a completely different direction. I could not agree more.
But yeah, like people who get famous before their brains have completely developed, it just like it messes them up, pretty much universally.
Speaking of Universal, let's tie this back.
Right,
Is Death Note a Universal
we
starter
just ended
anime?
up on a Death Note discussion, which
we'll save that for a Death Note episode. We definitely need to give Death Note its own episode.
we definitely do. I think
so. That's a preview of coming attractions.
Yeah, I think Death Note is a good starter anime. I don't think it's like the default one.
The perfect.
I mean, like I would say like the perfect starter anime is Dragon Ball.
Still,
yeah. Well, if you're gonna watch, anything, why not watch the best, or like one of the absolute best Shonen Jump roller coaster rides of all time?
Can I pull it back a little bit?
Okay.
Do we all agree that there is a canon, a literary canon, a film canon, like that? This is a concept that has some merit, right? That there's
that
a
could
collection, a collection within each medium of art. That there is a canon of art that is worth consuming broadly for anyone interested in that medium. Is this something that you guys broadly agree with?
I mean, think so. Yeah.
If we didn't, why would we be making this podcast?
I mean, this podcast is very specifically. We're not just making our own. The canon. We're making
our canon.
Yeah.
Our canon.
But I mean, yeah, no, I agree with that idea. I don't necessarily think that the canon is always the best way to start with the medium. In fact, I would say like I don't think there is any one perfect gateway anime.
Well, because you can look historically at the ones that have worked for people, and like you can say, hey, Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan got so many people into anime when it came out. Would that be considered the perfect starter anime? And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, this is actually my point, which is to say, I think anything that one could consider in the anime canon is a good starter anime for the same reason why I was just talking to one of my colleagues who, over the weekend, who said he watched his first Western ever, and it was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And it's like part of like some people's reaction would be like, because he knew I like Westerns a lot. It's all downhill from there, right? Like his one like initial response. But really, it's like, well, if you're going to experience something new, like a new genre, a new medium, what have you, don't you want it to be a prime example of that medium or genre so that you can see if you like it or not? Because if you don't want to give any excuses to the person who's like, all right, I'm going to try my first anime and it's going to be like a whatever anime, but like it's safe. I see a lot of people saying like, oh, don't give them something too anime because then they might not like it. And I don't agree with that. I think like throwing them in the deep end is a totally acceptable strategy in the same way that Attack on Titan was a lot of people's first anime. And that's why they're anime fans today. I think a lot of times people get in because of they're being thrown on the deep end. Easing people into something that they don't naturally like is a terrible way psychologically to get people to start doing something new. You basically like, you want to learn a new language, go to another country.
Yeah.
It's way easier and way more like has more long-term benefits than just like Duolingo every like 4 days.
Yeah. I mean, the reason like Dragon Ball to me comes up as like perfect gateway anime is like really I'm thinking about my own experience watching DBZ on YTV when it first debuted, seeing Piccolo punch that hole through Raditz and Goku and being like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And like, I do think, yeah, Miles, I think you've got a good point there that like those like crazy things where it's like so far beyond anything you've seen before, like the intro to Attack on Titan, like that's just like completely, throwing you in the deep end is a really good way to like get someone to see the full picture of what anime can be.
But that's also the problem too, which is not everyone's going to like the same things. And so I think that's why I say anything that's in the anime canon, however you would like to define it, is a perfectly acceptable first anime depending on specific contexts. So one, we're talking right now to the internet, which is available in 190 or 185 countries and territories recognized by the United Nations, plus places not recognized, plus hopefully aliens. For all of you, you're going to come from a different cultural background, right? And so that
especially
cultural background, like if you go to Latin America and say, hey, check out this cool anime, it's called Saint Seiya, and they've never seen it before, like all the other media that they consume makes them primed to like Saint Seiya. The culture they come from makes them primed to like Saint Seiya more. So like, I do think that there's no such thing as a perfect or universal starter anime. And also you want to kind of craft it towards the person you're talking to. So how much of a degenerate are they? What kind of other media do they like? And that's not a way to ease them in, right? But if they're an artsy fartsy person, showing them Belladonna of Sadness first is totally acceptable. Like if the person has a Letterboxd account, you can just show them that as their first anime.
And it'll work.
And well, it'll work or it won't, but like it'll be a perfectly good introduction to the medium. And like, I think it was Cosmo Select who's been talking about anime as a medium/genre.
Yeah, and like flip side, if you've got one of those guys whose like primary way of consuming classic movies is compilations of all the nude scenes, then show him Cream Lemon, which is the anime canon. It like undeniably anime canon. One of the harder ones to find someone who that would be a good gateway for. But there's someone out there for sure.
There's someone out there. Yeah, and that's the thing. You want to craft it. If someone really likes Westerns, you can show them Cowboy Bebop to bring it back, right? But like, I'm glad my colleague watched Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I would have said you should start at the beginning of the trilogy because it's quite the emotional journey from A Fistful of Dollars on. And it's only a loose trilogy also, but like it's one of those trilogies where each subsequent one gets like better in certain ways. My favorite is actually the middle one for a few dollars more, but we don't need to talk about Westerns today. The point being, you can narrow it down based on the person and push them outside their comfort zone. If you're not pushing them outside their comfort zone, it is not a good universal starter anime. Death Note does a good job of pushing people outside their comfort zone because it is anything that is that psychological or philosophical is going to push most people outside their comfort zones at least a little bit. And the Shinigami designs are also extremely abrasive. And like Ryuk has a perfect design, but like that is very off-putting to a non-anime consumer foundationally.
It's also off-putting to an actual anime consumer, especially when he's trying to sell you on pineapples and pens.
But it's very on-putting when it's Willem Dafoe in that scene.
Yeah.
Probably
the one bright spot there.
Still the best single casting choice of any live action anime adaptation. Like, and you know, right above Iñaki as Luffy. like, has there ever been an actor more born to play Ryuk than Willem Dafoe?
See, this is why I don't get why people hate the movie, because like even if you have problems with it, Lakeith Stanfield as L is inspired. Like there's so much good stuff about the movie.
Lakeith Stanfield's one of my favorite actors working today. He's like so compelling in dramatic roles, but also so funny. I can maybe think of better actors to play L, but not many.
Name one. Don't say Timothy Chalamet.
Why? Because it's too easy? That is actually like literally the first thing that came to my head. And I was like, the thing is, one, I knew it would be Chalamet
for you. But two, that's terrible casting. And three, most importantly, every fan cast of any anime right now has Timothy Chalamet as Deku or like...
Yeah, I know. It's
just somewhere in there.
It's just where my brain goes because of the internet. Like, no, I'd say like... I feel like a young Keanu Reeves could actually have really pulled off L.
L? Yeah.
Like Point Break era Keanu?
Like
Speed
early
era Keanu? Like
maybe
Bill
like
and Ted Keanu?
Yeah.
Like Bill and Ted Keanu.
I don't know.
Or like Dracula Keanu.
He's an incredible actor.
He is. But I mean, it's funny to hear you say that right after Tristan says Dracula Keanu. I think his performance is better than most people gave him credit for in that movie. I think Dracula is fantastic, but
I have yet to see Dracula, and I haven't heard literally anything that anybody has said about his performance in it. But I would assume that it's just one of many examples of the American public not understanding camp.
No, he is more wooden than the steak.
Okay.
And I mean, like, younger Keanu, I think, would do very well, especially for anybody that watched the 2008 adaptation of The Day the Earth Stood Still, where he was Klaatu. Because I feel like he just does that style of character very well. Neither of you have watched that film, and I'm just bouncing it. Okay, cool. Anyway.
I'll take your word for it.
I feel like I have. It's just completely rolled off my brain. Maybe I'm just thinking of a War of the Worlds adaptation, one of the many War of the Worlds adaptations. I don't know. But like, I feel like I rolled credits on a movie with that title at some point in my life.
Have there been any anime that the two of you have recommended to people as their first anime that you can recall?
Tons. I mean, let's...
Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
Yeah.
But that's because I recommended it to a person that has physical copies of the Foundation trilogy on their bookshelf.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of my whole ethos when it comes to if I'm given a personal recommendation.
What do you like?
Yeah. I start with what do you like, and I try to come up with something as close as I can to it. If they're like, I really like Star Wars, maybe a Gundam. I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what they like about Star Wars, right?
Yeah, well, because like also Gundam has such a wide breadth as it is that you could.
I mean, the thing is, I think pretty much anybody could start on Gundam because it's a really good soap opera, a really good military drama.
And also, depending on what they like, you can offer a different Gundam. If they like jazz, you can be like, hey, there's this cool thing called Gundam Thunderbolt.
If they like shonen battles, you can queue them up for G Gundam.
Or even Wing, really.
Even Wing. But like, I mean, why would you ever introduce someone to Hero Yui when you can introduce them to Master Asia?
I mean, that's
what circumstances are you guys getting people into anime for the first time? Because I actually, the only time in my life that I can remember trying to get someone into anime who wasn't already aware of anime and had watched anime, or like at least a little bit into it, was ironically while working at Crunchyroll.
Oh,
that's
with new hires.
New hires.
Yeah.
The more I hear about like the lack of people within the industry, not like having like no experience with anime, the more I hear about that, the more depressed I get for the future of the industry, honestly.
I literally would say don't worry about it, but I've spent the last 15 years worrying about it.
We're worrying about it.
Yeah, like, man, Crunchyroll used to be like actually so good for people who love anime working there. Like when I first started talking to you, Miles, when we did the first couple Crunchyroll awards, I feel like it was mostly people who really care about anime. And I do understand you have to hire some people who don't, because like skill sets don't always line up with interests. But
well, the problem is they at that time even were starting to hire people specifically because they didn't like anime.
Ugh.
Because hiring fans is its own challenge. And I acknowledge that. It really is. One thing that like I always had to like, when I was hiring people, I'm like, all right, you can't tell me you like anime because there's 3,000 people who applied for this job. And the one thing they all have in common is they all like anime, right? Especially for like entry-level jobs. Well, usually for the entry-level ones, it's not hard to find 3,000 people who like anime. And they're like, no, but I really like anime. I'm like, again, everyone who's applying for this job, this is a dream job for them, or most of them. So like, I get why there was a little bit of reticence, or like they wouldn't be able to separate the work from the thing. And like, I used to have the line about like, would you be able to take your favorite character behind the shed and shoot them if the time came? Like if they broke their leg on the farm, right? Like that's the conversation I had to have with many, many, many people. And I still do today. But there was still like an active resistance to hiring fans. And even today, I feel like, and maybe, this is coming off like the news. We're recording this after a round of layoffs at Crunchyroll. It hit quite a lot of people, including a lot of people I really liked.
Including like specifically hired. Some of the people who you trained to pick anime to watch each season.
Yeah. Or the people who trained me even, to be honest, which is that part's.
That's really depressing.
Oof.
But like I had to many times especially with leadership members say, they'd be like, hey Miles, we hear you're the anime expert. I'm like, That's really embarrassing being considered the anime expert at the anime company, but because I never felt like that. One, that's gross.
Two, they're completely ignoring Victoria. Three,
absolutely, they're ignoring Victoria. But three, like, I wasn't. I just was like in the right position, and my job was like aligned to be that guy, the anime expert at the anime company for a lot of executives. Because like, whatever,
you were fairly executive facing.
Well, no. Miles is just like is good at talking to executives
for the most part, except for when I'm not. No,
Miles understands business and like there is
business numbers.
Yeah,
and so whatever I recommended was usually I asked them what they liked, and then I'd recommend them the most accessible top 3 title of the season. Right, so I recommended people Yuri on Ice a lot. I recommended people My Hero Academia a lot.
Well, I mean, Hiroaka is literally one of the most common and easiest recommendations for me because, like, do you like Marvel movies? Great, watch.
And
Hiroaka.
for a long time, the answer to do you like Marvel movies was yes. Less so now. We're getting a lot of reasonable amounts of burnout of Marvel now, but
you can still. Do you like the good Spider-Man movies and Superman? Watch Hiroaka.
Yeah.
And I did recommend Attack on Titan for one executive as well. Like, I want to start watching anime. What should I start with? And I'm like, you're not going to like it, but you should start with Attack on Titan so you understand how different anime is from what you're used to watching.
Yeah, that's a
they ended up liking it.
Oh, cool.
I mean, Attack on Titan, like, that one hit like right at the peak of Game of Thrones mania, and it really did feel like anime Game of Thrones without feeling too much like Game of Thrones, right? Because there's Spider-Man around taking down giant monsters, which is very not Game of Thrones, but then also people are stabbing each other in the back and dying over fascist politics, which is very Game of Thrones. So it's like...
Plus, if you wanted like a real Game of Thrones-y anime, nobody's going to watch 12 Kingdoms as much as I hate it.
I want to really quickly circle back to Marvel movies, because I will say if somebody's Marvel...
Just don't say Marvel Snap.
No, if somebody's I'm done. I'm done. We can have that conversation another time, but I am done with Marvel Snap. Probably forever. But no. If somebody's favorite thing is Guardians of the Galaxy, then I'd throw them to like Bubblegum Crisis or something like that.
How is that where you go from there? Oh my God.
Why not?
What's in your top 10 anime that is an extremely good transition?
Cowboy Bebop?
What anime has the Guardians vibe the best from what you've told me? Tyler.
Oh, Irresponsible Captain. No, I mean, yeah, kind of, I guess. Tyler, like, to me, Tyler, I'd recommend to somebody who likes Star Trek.
Because that's kind of the thing. There is a little bit more regimented order within the Soyokaze that would lean more towards Trek than Guardians.
Have you watched any new Trek, Tristan? Structure, order?
I don't care about new Trek to the same point. And the best new Trek is Strange New Worlds, which at least has some semblance of the military structure within their organization, even if
up until season 3.
Tyler is
I
will give you Tyler is kind of like if Star-Lord became the captain of a starship in Starfleet. That is kind of the vibe, but it's more like I wouldn't even compare Tyler that much to Star-Lord. I'd say he's more like
I don't really get
Mr.
the Tyler.
Bean.
Well, so I actually have not watched Tyler, but I just from what you've said and from I've seen the Guardians movies, of course.
Yeah.
I figured that would be a much closer analogy.
No, Bebop is a far closer analogy. Outlaw Star, I think, is a better analogy. As well.
Outlaw Star. Like I don't know why I went to Bubblegum Crisis.
Some people like Tyler more.
I still think Bubblegum Crisis is a good one, but now that I'm really thinking about it, Cowboy Bebop for Guardians enjoyers, or I mean Outlaw Star. Like Outlaw Star more if you like the vibe of Guardians, and then Cowboy Bebop more if you like the musical energy of Guardians. But like both good options. But yeah, it really just does come down to what people are into and what anime will give them a more intense, more anime version of that, right?
Yeah.
Because there is something for basically everything, except if you're really into horror. There's not a lot of really good options for horror.
Well, it's because the thing is like we are so predisposed, like as much as we try to fight against it, and as we have historically about how anime is not kid stuff, there is still like this weird
stuff.
Not kid stuff. There is still this weird predisposition that it is for either younger audiences or at least something that you wouldn't take as seriously to be scary. Like a lot of things that are scary are things that are very real to you, that can legitimately frighten you, and it's hard for animation to do that in the same extent. I'm not saying that it can't, it's just a lot more difficult. So actually getting a proper horror series is hard.
Yeah, I've done a video on this a really long time ago about how like just the limitations of animation, the fact that like you're limited on how many lines you can draw fundamentally restrict how grotesque you can make something, which is the big problem with all of the Junji Ito adaptations, including the one that was supposed to fix it by spending an infinite amount of money on just every single line that it could possibly need. But then David Zaslav came up and was like, you're giving them how much money to draw lines on paper? No, send it to this third party studio and have it done in 3 weeks. And
like the best way that you could
terrible.
do it is you could do either a lot more psychological horror or things where you have a monster that you can't see.
Yeah.
Like the monsters that you can't see and the monsters that you end up imagining more in your mind and how terrible they are in your mind is even a normal like live action horror a lot more effective. Like the amount of times that I've watched like a horror film where things are like really built up until you see the monster and you're like, oh, I'm not scared anymore.
Yeah, like
because I know it's just that.
For a really long time, the only horror anime that really stuck with me was Shiki, and that's purely on the psychological level.
Shiki also like has an episode in it that I can't remember exactly which number. I can look it up later. Has one of the single best episodes of anime to me. Yeah. Like one of like within it, like if I was to make a list of top 10 single best episodes of anime, Shiki would be on there. It's got a really good episode in it.
Yeah.
Right below Food Chain from Adventure Time.
Yeah, no, like I'm pretty sure I know the one you're talking about. Is it like right after the village meeting?
I think so. Like this was like a number of years ago,
but
it felt like a standalone episode.
Did it involve hammers?
Maybe.
It's
been a while. We're talking about my memory of like 8-9 years ago when I did.
I mean, it's also been a while since I've watched Shiki, but
yeah,
I think
interestingly enough, Shiki is on Geoff's list, but not Tristan's list.
Just because it has a 100. Episode that I would call doesn't mean the show as a whole I would put on my top 100.
If one of them's one of the top 10 episodes of all time, I think that should alone give it consideration.
Yeah, give it. I mean, Miles, you haven't seen it yet, right? Yeah,
I have not.
We can talk about Shiki at some point.
Yeah, Miles, I think it might be one that really connects with you. But it's also, I don't know if that one's an easy to recommend starter anime.
I mean, there are even better vampire animes, honestly.
Hey, spoilers. You're not supposed to know it's a vampire anime because that's part of what makes it
clear.
I mean, it's really obvious that it's vampires. They come back with like bite marks on their necks. But
I literally haven't seen it, and I'm well aware that it's a vampire series.
Yeah, yeah. For other like for getting that visceral like gut reaction of
like, I mean, if you own the case, it's the stupid save edition. But yeah, like all over this, it's all vampire stuff, all over the back of the thing. Vampires.
Goddamn vampires. That's like
went jacuzzi splot there for a moment.
No, I was actually doing Frank, I believe, from Left 4 Dead, where the whole joke is that he keeps calling the zombies vampires.
Right. God, I haven't played Left 4 Dead in such a long time.
Like psychological horror, it's not easier to execute on in anime.
In
anime, yeah, it's not easier because like psychological, like you need really good writing to make effective psychological horror. But I think that to get that kind of visceral gut reaction that you get out of, watching any regular horror movie with decent practical effects, right? You know, that like the squicked out because somebody's like guts are hanging out or something like that. The body horror is very difficult to accomplish in anime unless you can first create like a sympathetic attachment to the character, which is why some of the most effective works of like visceral gore-driven horror for me are the ones that also lean really heavily into moe, like School Live, and especially Made in Abyss, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have ever cringed at animated violence more than that.
I know exactly. I know what episode it is even. That one.
Yeah. So that's the thing. When you say horror, it's hard to do in anime. I'm like, Made in Abyss is probably the most unsettled I've been watching pretty much anything.
Made in Abyss is also like one of the hardest canon anime to recommend to normal people, though.
No,
yeah. But also, like, going to your point, Geoff, we'll come back to that. Going to your point, Geoff, I didn't bring it up when we talked about it, but I was half tempted to bring up Made in Abyss when it came to Takopi's Original Sin, when we did an episode on that a very long time ago. And the reason why, because, like, I've said before that Made in Abyss is one of my favorite anime. It's been in my top 10 for a very long time since I've watched it. And it has that episode. It has that scene, and it's terrible, and I don't like watching it. But why is it then that I just don't like any or all of Takopi to watch it for like similar reasons because of how it makes me feel? And I think it's because Abyss has that moment, but it's surrounded by the entire rest of the show. It's not a whole show of that. If it was just that through the whole show, I'd probably not like Abyss.
I mean, Takopi's not a whole show of that. Takopi's...
Yes, it is.
Not that specifically, but a lot of things
do you
that make you feel
like a timer and say how long since we've seen a child get beaten on screen viscerally?
I mean, I would say that, like...
Can you make it 5 minutes?
Takopi is only like 15% horrible things happening to children, and more like 25% Takopi saying ridiculously inappropriate things about the horrible things that just happened to those children. You know? I feel
I'm just saying, you literally, if you cannot get up and go to the bathroom and not come back to child abuse in Takopi.
Perhaps you're right. I just, yeah, you know. To
the point of Made in Abyss, by the way, one of the reasons why I actually think it's a great starter anime for certain types of people is you tell them all the things wrong with it or all the content warnings that would be appropriate for Made in Abyss. And you have some people who are like, I'm in. Just from that list of warnings, right? Like, oh, what kind of up shit are you going to show me today, Miles? Like, I have had friends like that.
Yeah.
And like, that's actually like, you know, Made in Abyss is great for that. And also for people who just want to see something that is unlike anything they've ever seen in their life and will ever see again. Made in Abyss is that. Like, I think you can do a really good job getting old heads back into anime with Made in Abyss. Like people who watch like Vampire Hunter D and like Ninja Scroll. They watched that when they were kids, like the Gen Xers. You say, hey, look at what we watch in our generation.
Going back to like the question of the week for a moment, like the closest thing I did have to like a burnout and come back was right before and then because of Made in Abyss is the closest thing.
Made in Abyss, you know, you're right. It does have that like appeal for people who are into video nasties or whatever and just want to be like.
And so I think the biggest appeal of Made in Abyss truly is the fact that it does exploration and world building better than any other media I've ever seen in my life.
I wouldn't say any, but it's pretty good. It's very
we'll
good.
wait till the Made in Abyss episode to challenge you on that because I'd love to hear what comes close.
I really want to do a Made in Abyss
Delicious
episode.
in Dungeon.
Come on.
Delicious in Dungeon is really good at world building.
That sense of exploration is not there. Like the exploration is equally important to the world building.
The exploration in Delicious in Dungeon isn't to the same level. What Delicious in Dungeon does have is that it has a much larger Monsterpedia, essentially, because what you're exploring is not necessarily where they are.
It's the ecosystem.
Setting. Yeah, the setting is copy and paste in some places, whatever, standardized, but it's the monsters that they eat. It's what they find. That is the exploration within Delicious.
Tristan, have you finished the I'm trying to remember.
No.
Yeah, okay. So that's why
we had this discussion.
Is why when season 2 comes out, we're going to have this conversation. You're going to be like, damn.
But again, like in Delicious in Dungeon, they're going through a pretty typical dungeon. It is fleshed out extremely well, better than anything I've ever seen before, right? But it is still pretty typical. When it comes to Made in Abyss, every single episode is I have never even conceived of something like this in my life.
Made in Abyss definitely has the novelty factor, like with
it's not novelty. That's underselling it. It is truly an alien,
imaginative alien. Yeah. It
is a place you never want to be.
Yeah.
But once you're there, you'll never want to leave.
Yeah, no, Made in Abyss is like, I do agree that it shows you sights you've never seen before more than Delicious in Dungeon, but
if for someone with Wanderlust, for example, I would say Made in Abyss, I'd say, hey, there's all these caveats, but if you check out this anime, please, you're going to love it. And if they can get past those caveats, which are significant, but not unsurmountable, they're going to be obsessed.
Yeah.
All that to say, Made in Abyss is a great starter anime.
That's right. You can quote us on it.
The funniest thing to me, because it was on a mainstream streaming platform as like one of the only anime on there, some of the funniest bits of writing about anime that you will ever find are parents reviewing Made in Abyss on Amazon.com.
I wonder why. Whoops.
And I thought it was funny that Kite was in the like kid section of Blockbusters. All right. Let's go on to our main topic. Today's main topic today is a Miles episode where I get to recommend something. And like so many of our commenters have pointed out, I like movies.
Surprise!
Wow. Woo! So by the time you're listening to this, it's probably been a while since you've had to deal with a movie from before you were born from Miles on this list. But today I am nominating Space Adventure Cobra, which has the same name as the TV show, Space Adventure Cobra. But I'm recommending the movie because the show is pretty long, and I wanted to ease Geoff and Tristan into the franchise. This movie came out in 1982. It was directed by, of course, the same guy who directed the TV show and quite a lot of things you all have liked, Osamu Dezaki, who's famous for things like Dear Brother and Aim for the Ace, and probably most famous for the second half of Rose of Versailles. So, like, extremely stylistic director doing a movie. This covers, like, the first, like, arc of the TV show and condenses it into 90 minutes. And so it is a different telling, and it's a little more psychedelic. It's a little more out there. They take even more inspiration from Star Wars, which is so interesting that it came out around the same time as like Empire. Just like the visual conversation this movie's having. But this movie, the storyline isn't important. The storyline is about fighting Crystal Bowie and
Crystal Bowie.
Crystal Bowie and the Mafia.
You mean Crystal Boy?
Crystal Boy in the dub.
In the dub and in some of the subtitles, it's Crystal Boy. It's actually Crystal Bowie, as in David Bowie.
Oh, so
Crystal... Yeah.
So, I mean, that actually makes like so much sense.
It makes a lot more sense
than Crystal Boy.
Yeah. Who's this guy called Crystal Boy? That doesn't sound threatening at all. Crystal Bowie, though.
Cobra comes from a long line of space pirates like Harlock, very a ragamuffin in many different senses, but he likes to have fun. He's a very silly boy, and he's got a psycho gun in his arm that is the most powerful weapon in the universe. and he goes on adventures and sleeps with a lot of women. It is basically sci-fi James Bond.
That's literally what my first thought was. I was like, I started watching this is a James Bond type adventure where he meets a beautiful woman, falls in love with her, does some kind of quest with her, and then
rides off into the sunset.
On his own,
probably with her
dead, banging her quite a few times.
And that is basically all of Cobra. I am going to be honest, I prefer the TV show because it is goofier. Like, one of the things about Cobra is that he is quite the rapscallion, and you get a sense of that in this movie, and I think it's a fine introduction to Cobra.
That makes a lot of sense for you, Miles, because, like, as I was watching this, the feeling I got was like, this is Lupin in space.
Yeah,
this is Lupin in space. And I can see why Miles recommended it.
Anime James Bond might actually be Miles' highest hit rate anime genre, because you've got City Hunter, which Miles also loves. You've got Lupin.
Yes. Golgo 13.
Golgo 13. Literally anytime there is a James Bond in an anime, Miles is there for it.
Yeah.
And Cobra is probably the most fun of these characters. He's up there with Lupin. Like, in terms of like who's a fun character to watch, Cobra compared to like Lupin has more of an ensemble. There's like a whole cast. Really, with Cobra, it's just Cobra and Lady who are the through lines between it. Lady is his like the android who runs the ship.
And seems to be at least a little bit in love with him.
Yeah, but also hates his guts, which is how you know she's in love with him. And he goes on misadventures.
She's the Kiori. She's the female partner that beats the crap out of him just to wake him up every day. Yeah.
In this movie, Cobra goes on an adventure to rescue or to help these three sisters of an alien planet, and fulfill some sort of destiny to help them figure out which one of them or how all three of them are going to be the next queen of their now deceased planet. All the lore doesn't really matter. It's just kind of background dressing for a bunch of cool set pieces.
And some very nice vibes.
Yeah.
And
like you mentioned,
most importantly, vibes.
Like you mentioned at the start, the Star Wars vibes. And when I was watching the film, I was like, oh, especially like the first half of it, I was like, this is Star Wars. This is the part that we're on Tatooine. And then instead of going to a Death Star, we're going to a prison to go save a princess. And there's a lot of Star Wars stuff. And then when I was actually doing a little bit of research afterwards, because I was curious about the staff and everything, I read a bit where the writer was explaining some of his influences. And James Bond was one of them. But Star Wars wasn't. Star Trek, however, was. And I mean,
you can see that in the
design of the turtle. I can see that's Trek.
Yeah,
and that's Trek.
And the Cobra starship.
Yeah, like the actual ship designs.
It's like
just shrunken down.
I mean, like the design of Cobra's ship is literally like a Star Destroyer banged the Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah, with a saucer. It's a destroyer with a saucer section. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's so great. Cool. I love that ship.
It's so cool.
It is a really good ship.
The animation in this movie is nothing to write home about. Like it's better than the TV show, but like it's not like meaningfully better than TV animation in the 80s, which is not generous to it. But the vibes are immaculate. Like the aesthetics going on, and also many of the like specific like pieces of mechanical work going on. Not mechanical animation, unfortunately, but like just the mechanical designs are beautiful. And like when I say Star Wars-esque, I really do mean like a lot of just that mechanical inspiration in the way that like so many things now feel, or no, there was an era where things felt Toriyama inspired,
which
this feels Star Wars inspired.
Makes it proto Toriyama.
Contemporary.
Well, no, I mean, because like, I don't know if you guys know this, but Toriyama's first manga that he ever submitted to Shonen Jump, which got rejected, but got the attention of Torishima and started his career toward making Dr. Slump. His first entry to a Shonen Jump manga contest, he actually lost. He was rejected because he literally just made Star Wars. Like Torishima was like, we can't publish this. This is literally Star Wars.
And then he's just like, but how about if I do that, but for Journey to the West?
And you can see how much he loves Star Wars, actually, because one of the cops in Dr. Slump is just a stormtrooper.
Just straight up.
Just straight up a stormtrooper. And that's actually the character that carries over from his old cop manga that he tried to get off the ground.
But not an insignificant amount of this film feels like, hey, they just got back from watching Empire, because it's like, not only was that first full half very much A New Hope, but then where do they go? Oh, an ice planet where it's stormy and icy all over the place.
And they get raided and they're running away from... Yeah, it's like literally the Battle of Hoth. And then like we transition from the Battle of Hoth into kind of a weird ending, honestly.
Yeah, a weird ending. But Return of the Jedi hadn't come out by this point, so that's fine.
Yeah. So they didn't have something to knock off from that, and they were just like, okay, I guess naked lady lies down on a stone carving of herself and unlocks the secrets of the galaxy.
Yep.
And there are lots of mirrors everywhere.
Lots of mirrors. I will say, for design,
and Space Baby floating around
as stupid as his name is in English and kind of still is in Japanese, but less so. Crystal Bowie.
It's a sick name in Japanese.
Okay.
What?
Crystal Bowie. Yeah, Crystal Bowie. Fantastic villain design. Like
so cool.
Just, like clearly, that's clearly where the movie budget went. Because like, what if a character was entirely airbrushed in all of his action scenes? That, like, literally, that is probably what Dazaki was like, let's see if we could pull this off, right?
Yeah.
And
I think... Go ahead.
It's legitimately a really cool design, right? I think you don't see transparent characters like that in traditional animation very often.
And also, the way that, like... So... Again, animation's nothing to speak of, but Dazaki is such a master boarder that, like, you always see Crystal Bowie from all these weird and unique, cool angles that work so well, where you see his like golden spine or ribs in different positions, and it's like, wow, the animators really work hard to get this exactly right. Like, it looks so good. You can pause any frame of this movie and be like, wow, this looks perfect.
I want that as a cell. Yeah.
And I definitely was on eBay immediately after rewatching this movie.
Looking for cells. Man, Crystal Boy's cell would go super hard. Like one of those transparent cells.
Dude. Yeah. I have a Cobra cell around here somewhere, or maybe even two.
One of the things...
Is it from the movie, though, or is it from the show?
No, it's from the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. There'd be more of them.
One of the things that grabbed me about this as I was watching it immediately, I was like, so that's why Miles smokes cigars.
No. Though I will say, I had a hankering last night when I was rewatching it. Cigars are cool, but no, that's not why.
Why? It doesn't have to do with you being incepted by literally the coolest guy in space.
Sequentially that happened in reverse.
Oh, you smoked a cigar before you watched Cobra?
Many, yes.
Okay. All right. I stand corrected.
Yeah. But
it helped,
is
though.
Cool. It didn't hurt things. No, he's like, Cobra is so cool and nonchalant about everything. And again, the James Bond thing in space, like that charisma, that like the whole reason this movie came up is my wife was asking me about like what anime do you like just to watch for fun? Like what are your, like, she was listening to the Guilty Pleasures conversation and she's like, well, what anime do you really like that are actually the ones that like you don't care about how quote unquote good they are. You just like them to watch them. And I'm like, well, of course, Lupin, Go-Go 13, like those both have good moments, but like overall I don't watch them because they're good, or the bad episodes or bad moments don't bother me at all. And I'm like, but number one on that list, the most like, I just like watching this and I just like vibing with it. I just like having it on and just like being one with this piece of art is Space Adventure Cobra.
I thought you were going to pivot there for a moment and say Pink Jacket Lupin.
I think Cobra is a much more enjoyable experience than any Lupin TV show. TV show. And this movie is a totally fine introduction to it. And I still have it on my movie list. It's not very high up on my movie list, but it is still pretty high because it is a good captured its 99 minutes of
tight 90.
Space Adventure Cobra.
I wouldn't call it a tight 90, but it is a good movie. Still.
It is a good 90.
I'm glad to hear that, considering you watched it in English, because the dub is not ideal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that did definitely detract from my experience of it. Maybe I'll
Crystal Boy.
Yeah, them calling the bad guy Crystal Boy, I'm gonna stop you, is just, it's real cheesy. Also, just the constant talk about the Space Mafia Guild just sounds so goofy in English. Like
in Japanese, it's just the Guild. The Guild.
Zagildo.
Zagildo.
Yeah. But I mean, they say that interchangeably, but they do say the words Space Mafia Guild
Mafia
quite a bit.
Well, you know, when the going gets tough, steal from the Mafia.
Yeah, the dub was pretty weak overall, though Cobra's voice actor,
he did okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'd probably like it more. I will say it's not in my top 100.
Like of dubs? Because you were talking about dubs.
I'm just saying, like, the movie overall is not in my top 100. And maybe the dub, maybe if I'd watched the sub, it would have changed that. But, like,
I mean, the Cobra in Japanese is really good, to the point where I was very disappointed to learn that he's only ever acted in one other anime besides this.
Okay.
Which one's that?
Narima Daikon Brothers.
Huh.
Out of all the things that he could have acted in, he both sang and acted in Narima Daikon Brothers. Not a show I would have pegged, nor one that I would recommend to many people.
I've always been curious about that one because it was advertised on a lot of the DVDs that I owned.
It was. They were trying really hard to sell it. There's a good reason why.
Is it not very good?
It's an acquired taste, I'll say. Because it's an anime musical, ostensibly, about daikon. The actual vegetable, not daikon.
And Narima, the region, as well,
yeah,
I would assume.
Yes, because their family is from there. And they are brothers who pick up a female third character to round out their trio. Yep.
It's like anime Blues Brothers, right? Kind of. Anime Blues Brothers a little bit, or that's the design influence.
That's the vibe that they were going for. They did not land it very well.
Oof. Okay.
I do recommend. I haven't watched it, but the Anime World Order episode about it is fantastic.
Okay. All right.
Not your top 100.
To the point, I wouldn't call it a tight 90. I think that there's...
No, I wouldn't call it a tight 90 either. It's just fun to bring that up, considering how often we do.
It's kind of a meandering movie.
Yeah.
And not all of the meandering feels really satisfying. Sometimes it just kind of feels like someone staring out a window for a couple minutes just for the vibe. Which,
but that's...
Yeah, I know you love the vibe. Yeah.
Well, so that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of just like, we're going to look at all these planets that have no physics reason for being so close to each other, but it makes for the sickest shot in the world. But there's
especially
also, like,
when they all go into alignment for no reason.
For no reason. But there's also a lot of times where it's like, because my sister's also fated to love you because I love you. Because you love me. I watched the dub too.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of that, which is like, we got it the first time, sister. Thank you very much.
I mean, even just that plot point just boggles my mind so much. Hey, I only just met you, but I have fallen in love with you. And in order to become queen, my sisters must also fall in love with you. Oh no, I'm going to die. I will now send through time and space my love to my other sister who has never met you, and now she will fall in love with you too.
My
and
other
you will fall in love with her.
Yeah,
and you must fall in love with her.
You're in fact already in love with her. Because
you loved me.
It's magic space love, and we're the same person. Because
meanwhile, Cobra's just like, actually, I was kind of looking for more of just like a fling, just kind of a one-off thing. This is getting a little too high.
But he does love her. I mean, he's afraid of commitment, but like...
Well, yes, he loves her enough to wake up from like super sleep, break out of an icicle, punch his way through with several layers of metal.
The power of love.
With the power of love.
But
that's the power of love.
Only if you're in love with a lady who has stars for nipples. Otherwise, love does not allow you to walk underwater. But if you are in love with a lady...
But he only loves the ones with stars on his nipples because the third sister has no nipples at all.
Well, she has the stars for some points and just they disappear at another point.
Yeah, like...
Speak there.
Like, I don't know.
Actually.
She
does have stars on her nipples.
Plot-wise, it's a little goofy, you know? Like the whole... the love transfer to Hoth and the running off to Hoth to find a different magic girlfriend to also get
who looks
shot.
Identical to the first magic girlfriend.
That really feels like some of the most padded storytelling out there.
We need a reason to go to Hoth.
It is slightly better in the TV show, but it still sucks.
Yeah, I'm you know, like I didn't not enjoy the Hoth sequences. They were fun action sequences, especially when they're like crawling in those caves and the spaceships are flying overhead. That's like there's some real cool scenes there.
And all the female goons are burning because they got hit with flamethrowers.
Oh, that was so cool.
That was so cool.
But fundamentally, you could slice that entire section of the movie out of the movie.
And it probably wouldn't change much.
But then you missed the attack on the train. That was great.
No, it's great. I'm saying plot-wise, you can slice that. You can slice everything from "you have to go find my sister" to "oh no, the sister's dead" out of the movie, and it's the same exact plot.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, like I didn't feel like it was wasting my time because I enjoyed the vibes, right? But like, there were a lot of moments where I was like, there's other movies that can give me vibes this good and also a tight 90-minute story.
What gives this good of vibes?
Cowboy Bebop, the movie.
Are you forgetting, Miles? Perhaps Redline.
Redline, yeah.
Redline is a little more anxiety-inducing, though. Like, this is just kind of like, we're just having a good time here. Like, Redline, like, I'm locked in. I don't casually watch Redline. I don't put Redline on in the background. With Space Adventure Cobra, you can just kind of, like, have it on and chill.
I mean, for chill space vibes, irresponsible Captain Tyler.
Well, he's wanting a movie, though.
Yeah, but I mean...
Not necessarily.
Well, I mean, put on the Tyler OVA and pretend it's a movie.
And Tyler does have a lot of movie-quality episodes, too.
I also think, like, again, I do prefer the TV show to the movie because it just does more and goes more places. And
does it?
You know...
So I haven't watched the TV show, but again, as part of my little minor research for this episode, I read a synopsis of the TV show, and I was like, oh, cool, I've watched Total Recall before.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to pretend that the storylines in Cobra are why you're watching Cobra. You're watching Cobra because, there's 2 episodes of him, like, playing football, American football with robots or whatever. Like, there's just, don't worry about it, man. Like, that, the storyline is not...
You like the DS9 episode where they all play baseball.
He's a dandy guy in space.
Of course. He's a dandy guy in space. And he goes on cool adventures.
And he meets women with some of the nicest asses in anime, which as an ass man, do gotta give that to this movie. Fantastic asses. Just impeccable.
Like there's a bunch of just cool imagery and cool visuals and like taking advantage of animation as a medium to give another layer to the original manga. I think, like, if you're going to watch something, like, you're going to have a nice time watching this movie of 99 minutes are going to be very well spent. And it's cool as hell. It's just cool as hell. There's so many cool scenes in it. Even,
it is
like,
cool as
the
hell.
Weird plot scenes.
So here's going to be the fun bit. Because now we're reaching the point where we need to start talking about it in comparison to the list. And I get to say a wonderful thing. I want to put this higher than Royal Space Force. Miles.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I enjoyed myself more than Royal Space Force. I would have enjoyed myself even more had we watched this as a trio. I'm quite sure.
I mean, it definitely would have been fun to watch as a trio because, like, Man, there's so much stuff that just like randomly cracked me up, including just the love interests' names. Just like the fact that they're on this epic space quest. He's like, Princess Jane.
Catherine's fine.
Dominique?
Dominique is... they're just not space princess names. None of them are space princess names.
They're Bond girl names.
They are Bond girl names.
Yeah. Dominique is a Bond girl name. Jane is like literally the boringest name in existence.
She's a plain Jane.
But she's supposed to be a supernaturally beautiful Jane.
She is.
Yeah.
So wait, Tristan, you really like this movie?
Reasonably, yeah. I enjoyed it a lot.
Huh.
Tell us why.
I had a good time. I'm no longer depressed from previous things that we have watched.
A very long time ago, and definitely not
a very long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Prior to recording this.
Exactly. Precisely. Now, I know that that's not going to be the case here, but it is one of the things that I did want to mention, only because, like, when we've watched our movies in the past, we normally be like, oh, I got to think about it some more. I'm here being like, no, higher than Royal Space Force. It's not going to end up there because obviously Geoff doesn't even want to put it on the top 100. Miles likes it, but he would much prefer to put the TV show on the top 100, I'm sure.
No, I want both. To be honest, like, it's a little like hacky, but if you want the best anime of all time, I would say watch Space Adventure Cobra, the movie, because the visuals are better. Like, it's a cool, like, the action scenes are more dynamic. It's a cooler, like, if you want to just spend 99 minutes, this is a better way to spend it than watching the TV show necessarily. But the TV show is overall the better experience because there are much more wacky adventures. And I do think that the first arc plot, like, story-wise, is the weakest. Even though I love Crystal Bowie.
I mean, Crystal like, Bowie. I'm not opposed to, if we watch the rest of it later, lumping all of Cobra into one
in together, yeah.
But, like, when I think about like just movies we've watched, I don't want to put it above Royal Space Force. I think that is a ridiculous thing to say, frankly.
It is a ridiculous thing to say.
I said it anyway.
But
welcome to the podcast.
Also, like, I wouldn't put it above Lensman's Secret of the Lens. I think that Lensman...
But we don't have Lensman on the list because we haven't done
Lensman gave me those Star Wars vibes when we watched it
I preferred this over Lensman.
I think it's crazy to prefer Lensman to this because Lensman, like, falls into a bunch of, like, really boring and annoying tropes. Yeah. And, like, it just salvages itself by being, like, kind of cool sometimes.
By having some of the sickest action scenes.
Okay. Yeah. It was very well animated, but Lensman was very much, we're trying to recreate Star Wars. Cobra was like, no, we're just inspired by, we like the vibes.
Cobra was like, we've got this manga that's kind of like Star Wars. Let's hammer it into a more Star Wars-esque shape and see if we can make some money at the box office with that. Which is also what Lensman was, right? Like, Lensman was...
I would rather watch Cobra than Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's just a more fun movie, and it does movie things better, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe not Empire. I like Empire, but like
Empire's great.
Well, I mean, we're
on my
at the
Star
point
Wars
now
ranking,
that if
this would be number 2.
If I'm watching Star Wars, chances are I'm watching like 4, 5, and 6 all in one go as like a combined thing. I did that on the plane to Japan. Don't regret it. Good times. But all right. So if that's where I would put it, very high up, where is it actually going?
So
quite a bit lower than that, I would imagine.
So I think for me, because I know Geoff wishes Eiko is higher. For me, this is below Eiko on my list in general. Not by a lot. Like, it's around the same level as Eiko for me in terms of enjoyment. So I'm happy having it in the Eiko neighborhood, which is pretty close to the Royal Space Force neighborhood. So, like, I don't think
it is pretty close to the Royal Space Force neighborhood.
Like, I think Royal Space Force should be our, like, third on our list right now, but whatever.
To me, I'd put it down with like Cleopatra, and bearing in mind that I would also put Cleopatra below Dress Up Darling.
We are aware,
and so will you after we're done talking about season 2 of Dress Up Darling.
Not likely. I'm prepared to be wrong. but not likely.
I'm looking forward to being wrong.
Even episode 1 of season 2, I think, will address a lot of your. But that's a whole.
Cleopatra was sick though. Like that was such an experience.
Cleopatra was a sick experience. To me, I would put this around there. Maybe even, I don't know if I put it above or below Cleopatra. I think
I would put it above Cleo only for the enjoyment factor. Like I enjoyed and again, had we watched it, like, because we watched Cleopatra as a group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was really good. Had we watched Cobra as a group, definitely better than
that
Cleopatra.
Definitely but even like, that's definitely the optimal way to watch at
Cobra.
Least this movie and probably the whole TV show, just with your bros. Like Bond, right? Like James Bond, right? James Bond is just best with the bros.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I do actually like Cobra better than most James Bond, even as a lifelong James Bond guy, right? Like, just so the listeners at home understand, like, this is a really fun cartoon to put on the television.
Yeah. My experience with it being a little soured was I watched it really late at night and I had to like get to bed.
And dubbed.
I did watch it dubbed too, but like the last half hour when they were on the ice planet, instead of just enjoying it, I kept thinking, man, they could have cut a lot of this.
But once we were in like the Hall of Mirrors, weren't you like, oh, I'm back in?
No, the Hall of Mirrors was before that, wasn't it? No, the Hall of Mirrors is.
I think that was before.
Yeah, that's well. That was when he was. That's before Jane dies. Yeah. The Hall of Mirrors.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
No, but there's more mirrors again once the final fight happens.
He likes mirrors. Yes.
I was it. Yeah, like I can't even remember if it was mirrors or just Dazaki doing that thing where he like pastes a bunch of the frames of the animation on top of each other. Yeah, mostly cool. I do think there was that one shot where Cobra's in a dogfight and like he uses that effect to emulate the speed of him flying around. That didn't work for me. But
wait, really?
When like it flips over, it just feels really herky jerky.
I mean, the thing is, it was pretty smooth animation compared to everything else. Also, so like, I felt like they were trying to really make that look as visually stunning as they could with somewhat limited animation.
Yeah,
and like the opening sequence again, gorgeous, and like that was like really where they brought out the psychedelics, and that felt like a Bond opening. Like, truly.
the opening, the opening definitely. I like the opening a lot. It's very strong. I'd say, like personally, for that style of Bondish opening, I feel like it's hard to beat Dirty Pair Project Eden.
I don't think it does.
Yeah. It's just like, again, to me, it's like, I like it, but I feel like most of the things it does, I can get out of other anime better. Like if I want the Bondish experience, I feel like I'd probably enjoy City Hunter more if I really got into City Hunter or Lupin more. But
I mean, that is pretty fair,
as
a City Hunter enjoyer.
Yeah, like it's just as far as anime James Bonds, I definitely get why Cobra is your favorite, Miles, because he's a very likable character. He's such a he's a dandy guy in space, right? He really does feel like space dandy, where he's just like out there to have an adventure, get his dick wet, and not zero apologies about it.
All right. So maybe then
wait. I was just the thing is, to me, like, I want to bring it back to Lensman because like maybe that's just me being like a little bit too much of a Sakuga slut. Maybe I'm just like,
I would say so. Because like we didn't do Lensman. I don't know if I want to do an episode on Lensman because
I had so much fun watching that with you guys.
You might have. Yeah. I was just like, okay, this is okay.
If we weren't watching it together, I would have fast forwarded.
That's okay. I because Lensman definitely has plot problems too. Don't get me wrong. But when Lensman gets into that CGI fueled psychedelia at the end, or that chase sequence on the like speeder bikes and stuff, I feel like the highs of Lensman for me, as far as the action scenes went and everything, were higher than what Cobra hit, with the exception of the Hoth like everything going crazy battle scene, which I guess does kind of like contradict my you could cut this out of the movie, because it's the best sequence in the movie. The like snow from the snow bunnies pieces, attacking the train up to them escaping,
leaving Hoff.
Like that whole sequence is really good, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm also just now editing out the parts of Lensman that were really boring, because like if I think about it, there's some parts that like Tatooine part of that story is not great. It's really just when they get to that world full of criminals and then they go on that like big the hover bike chase with like there is nothing I love more personally in classic anime than 3D hallway sequences before they had CG capable of doing anything more than pre-visualizing the wireframes for it. I mean,
we say this, but also the coolest part of Lensman is just like the most whatever 10 minutes of Royal Space Force.
Yeah, no, neither of these is in the same country as Royal Space Force, and that's
Tristan.
Like I can see the full Cobra thing being on the list. I feel like when I get into City Hunter, that'll probably top it, and so
that'll be very fun.
So will Lupin for me.
So then, with that in mind, where I'm thinking that then we should put it is just above Spirits Within, below Dress Up Darling, with the knowledge that we should come back and talk about Cobra TV. We should also gonna rewatch Dress Up Darling, and that's probably gonna go up higher.
But if this is above Space Force for you, and this is basically just below it for me, shouldn't we move it up a bit? Because like it's higher for both of us. Because
the thing is like we have it pretty high, but Geoff seems to have it really down low. That's the thing. So it's like dragging.
I know, but that's basically where he would put it. Like,
yeah, I can, if you want to put it right above Cleopatra,
I want to put it above Golden Boy. I want to put it above Cromartie. Tristan's there with me, so like we just got to get you a little bit there. Like I think like around Golden Boy level is a little bit more of a compromised position, don't you think, Tristan?
The thing is that we're really hoping for Golden Boy to be 69 on the list. So
no, you're Tristan. I thought Geoff was. I didn't know you were in on this.
I mean, scheme. I'm kind of curious as to whether or not that'll be a thing as well.
I'm not confident Golden Boy is going to make the list. I think right now anything below Project A-ko is unlikely to make the list, which is another reason why I really want to get it up at Project A-ko level.
Because here's the thing: like the way that you talk about the show makes me feel like combining it as a whole with the TV show
probably the best way to do it.
We'll probably have it a lot higher. So then, where it is, I think I'm okay with like either just above Cleopatra or just above Golden Boy.
Let's do just above Golden Boy. Yeah.
I think I'd be more comfortable with just above Golden Boy if we'd seen the show, but like just based on the movie, it's like
even just based on the movie, at least give me above Penny and Stocking.
Sure,
above Penny and Stocking.
Sure, above Penny and Stocking. All right.
All right.
Which is above Cleopatra, which is what you originally had said, Geoff.
Yeah. No, it's 1 point higher than I was like.
To be clear, if I were to make my list, if it were just my list, right? The TV show would be like top 20 or 30, and the movie would be like 70 or 80 in my personal combined list. And so like, if we end up combining them, we're talking in the top half of the list, and I think I can get you guys there once you see the TV show. But like for just the movie, it belongs on the list as we're talking about it right now, even if we never get around to the TV show, which we will.
We will. Of course we will.
It was a good movie. Like, this is not for everybody. 1982 already like makes a lot of people not interested. People are not going to watch this episode very much compared to other stuff we do.
More than likely.
It's a really good experience, and you don't need to know anything going into it. It's a great introduction to Cobra, if a little more serious than the rest of the franchise.
Yeah, I mean, if the rest of it's goofier, what I'm honestly looking forward to watching the most is the OVAs. That, to me, I feel like will be... No, are they bad?
They're just not by Dazaki, so they don't hit the same.
Okay.
Like, they're fine, but like, Dazaki Cobra is like where it's at. Like he's such like if you watch tomorrow's show, like like this is just a director who really knows how to make the most out of something. I laughed out loud so many times at the movie again, and like the material is only so funny. It's just about the presentation of it that works so well. And I watched the dub for this most recent time. It was my first time watching the movie dubbed. And the dub's not good, but it was.
It's not terrible.
Totally
so maybe that's the reason why I'm having such a good time, because I watched it sub.
Yeah, I think no, really, because like the voice actor for Cobra is so fantastic in Japanese.
Yeah, I mean,
Which
does
again,
it like all of
Nerman and Daikon brothers. What the hell?
All of the Flower Sisters, like it really sounds like they're sleepwalking through the entire movie.
Yeah,
which makes sense for one of them because she's under.
She's literally sleepwalking the whole movie,
but like the other two, oh man,
both of them supposed to be badass bounty hunters in different respects.
It's just that like airy, half asleep. Oh, Cobra, I love you so much, Cobra. Oh, Cobra, I have a magic destiny, and
it's
then
like they've been drugged.
And then like Crystal Boy. Just,
He's good in the dub.
He's fine.
He's super campy, but he's better in Japanese stuff.
Yeah. He's like, Cobra's great. Lady's pretty funny, if I remember correctly, in the dub.
She's good.
I just wish we had more of Lady in the movie. She seems like very untapped potential. Very much a please go watch the show, get more of Lady in the show kind of feeling that I got from her.
Lady's not that involved in the show either.
No?
But she gets more to do. No, but Lady is... I think one of the great things about Lady is she's only around when it's necessary, and so that kind of makes it better.
Okay.
You never get sick of her, because it's not like she's going to develop as a character. She's a robot.
She's the ship's GPS. It's literally sassy Siri. But I probably watching it dubbed was detrimental to my experience, and maybe almost certainly I would want to rank it higher if I had watched the sub, but maybe not. I don't know. Like I did feel like there were pacing issues, and also when I just want to turn my brain off and vibe to an anime, the dub is the way I want to do that. Right. A lot of the time,
fair. Yeah.
Did we watch? I feel like we watched Lensman dubbed too. Did we?
I don't
think so. I
just remember that being a real fun time with you guys. But also I enjoyed watching Spirits Within with you guys more than I enjoyed watching this by myself.
But that's just fun. Like watching things with a group is almost just by nature better than watching it by yourself.
Spirits Within is also a way better dub, though. Spirits Within is a better dub than most of the anime that we've ever talked about.
Yeah.
I've never seen a better dub.
With Hollywood stunt casting? Yeah, for sure.
In my life.
In your life?
No qualifications. No qualifications.
I mean, on our list, I would say the Baccano dub's quite a bit better than Spirits Within.
I still prefer the Japanese for Baccano, so.
Dungeon Meshi.
Yeah. Dungeon Meshi.
The gap between the sub and the dub is not all that big. It's,
I mean, we didn't watch the Spirits
Have you
Within
watched the Spirits Within subbed?
I'm sure it's pretty good.
The original language is English, so I would watch it in English every time. I just watch things in the language they're produced in. Is that such a crime?
No.
I don't watch the Godzilla dubs anymore, even though that's what I grew up with.
And even though those are hilarious.
Yeah, they are. But we'll need to do a Kung Pao episode one of these days.
Or at least a side quest. Kung Pao, that is like a landmark for my personal sense of humor.
We can tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
My nipples look like milk duds. Yeah.
I mean, also, I think Kung Pao did more to define the YouTube poop than anything else outside of actual YouTube. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I would want to do Kung Pao, but I definitely would love to do a side quest for Kung Fu Hustle.
No, Kung Fu Hustle gets an episode. Kung Fu Hustle's anime. Unironically, I think we could do a double feature Kung Fu Hustle, Shaolin Soccer, and just theory craft about the Dragon Ball Z movie that never was. And that would be a great episode. I'm so mad that Stephen Chow did not get to, or didn't end up directing Dragon Ball Evolution. Like, that is the biggest missed opportunity in maybe the entire history of Hollywood. I feel like we should have talked more about like how weird it is that like he's quantum entangle banging 3 different women at once.
Talk about it.
Okay. He's quantum entangle banging 3 different women at once.
That's something you desire,
bombshell.
Geoff? Bye.
Bye.
Next time on Quest for the Best, Dawn to Dawn, Seasons 1 and 2.